sounds like an awful film.
To be fair, it's quite...
Sucked into a waterbed. What's up, witches? Hi, I'm Claudia.
And I'm Jess.
And welcome to True Crime Coven.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right. I woke up at 4:30 p.m.
Sounds like a good productive day.
Yeah, I just had slept really badly the last 2 nights before work, and then last night went to bed and knew I was sleeping in, and then was sort of rousing all throughout the day. And then when I woke up, I said to my boyfriend Mikey, I was like, "Oh, what time is it?" Expecting it might be 1, and he was like, 4:30. Oh no, I had so many things I was going to do.
You know, the worst thing is now you're going to struggle to sleep tonight because you woke up late.
No, I'm quite knackered.
Oh, okay, that's all right then. Maybe we shouldn't have had tea. Maybe we should have had decaf or
peppermint. Tea's not that strong.
No, but still caffeine, isn't it?
I mean, it is also 7:30 p.m, Jess. I've got a few hours. I know you go to bed in 5 minutes, but I'm going to go to bed about midnight.
Do you know, I think if we could get this wrapped up in 5 minutes, Simon would have a heart attack from joy, not having to listen to us waffle.
For an hour.
Yeah.
Well, have you brought us some spooky tales?
I do. Obviously,
you do. Have you brought us? I do.
I do. I do have some spooky stories. Obviously, we put out a bit of a plea on Reddit.
Yes.
And we were not disappointed.
We were not. The people of Reddit really delivered.
So many. So I've got 4 from Reddit for you today.
Amazing.
Obviously, I've got people's handles that don't have anyone's names.
Lily's fallen right asleep.
Oh, that's because she was running around like a crazy bitch.
Over that, or she's just died. She's literally, can you not see it?
Yeah, she looks like, you know when someone face plants and is like, what the fuck?
I feel like I should draw a chalk line around it. And that'll be next week's case.
The case of the ferret who dropped dead.
That's the worst title in the world.
It is. I'm tired.
Sounds like a fable.
So this story was sent in by ACKB1234. So I thought that was easier to just say it. Are you ready to be scared? I used to own and run a small town hotel with a bar, and it was definitely haunted. I first noticed it on the 2nd floor, and there were a lot of strange happenings and paranormal activity. But it almost seemed like once the ghost had been recognised, it moved from the 2nd floor to the main floor. I would often sit with customers who were visiting the bar. And one time, I was sitting in the bar with a few customers, and the front door just opened a little bit by itself. We saw a young man poke his head around the door. He had knickers on and a flat hat. I'm not exactly sure what they were called, but he looked like he was from the 1920s. He walked into the bar and looked straight at us for a brief moment, and then he headed towards the stairs and vanished. I turned to the person next to me and said, "Did you see that?" To which he replied, "What, the kid with the knickers on?" "Yep, I did." I couldn't believe we had both seen the same thing. Now I know that I hadn't imagined it. This confirmed my feelings that the building was haunted, and this isn't my only story.
I must admit, we had to record that knicker bit twice because I burst out laughing. And then we did a bit of research.
To be fair, I should have warned you because I did the same thing when I read it the first time. But I think because I'd started reading the first bit and I didn't realise that the knickers bit was in the halfway through the second bit of that story, that I was like, oh, I should have warned.
Yeah. So I literally imagined, and then Jess said she imagined too, a guy with knickers on his head for some reason.
And in my head, they're bright pink, frilly, almost like granny pants.
Yeah.
Say a big pair.
Bloomers.
Yeah.
But then we did a bit of a Google, and the person telling the story might be referring to knickerbockers.
Maybe we should put a photo on our Instagram of knickerbockers.
They're sort of a long thing. They're long thing. They're sort of long frilly trousery with braces attached.
Yeah. But then they've also just said that he was
three-quarter
wearing
lengths.
knickers. So in my head, I'm like, he's literally just wearing knickers and a hat. Like, he doesn't have a t-shirt on, or he doesn't have any shoes
that's the thing. So
like, he's just like running to this
I'm guessing
bar.
they mean these old-fashioned trousers that are like 3/4 length, sort of like bunch up at the bottom and have braces attached. But in my head, it was like a disgraced politician ghost, like from Ghosts, the TV series.
Yeah, because obviously, like, I think the person who sent this in is American, and obviously there are some words that are the same but have different meanings.
Yeah, like if someone said to me, like, oh, he was wearing pants, I would definitely think just pants.
Yeah, rather than, but obviously they'd mean trousers. Yeah. You ready for the next one? I just got so excited in that I've lost my breath a little bit. That's how unfit I am. Got a little bit like...
She says she's unfit. She's just been to the gym and gone swimming. I woke up at 4:30 p.m.
Just because I went swimming doesn't mean I'm fit. There was like an old guy in the same lane as me and he lapped me like 3 times.
I love swimming. So I know I keep saying that. It's because I can't go swimming that often because of new tattoos.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you ready for the next story? This one was sent in by Annie Oakley's kids. So thank you in advance. This story happened just a few days ago and I've since been trying to process it myself. In the early hours of one morning, I went to our local Walmart to get a few items. I go early because there's less riffraff and hardly anyone outside of employees are there. I was enjoying my lone walk down each empty aisle. It was so quiet, it actually seemed like I was the sole shopper. When I got to the coffee section, I started searching for my husband's favourite flavour. I noticed some hot chocolate at the very top shelf and decided I wanted some, but I couldn't reach it. I looked around for someone to help me, but there were no employees. I looked around for a minute, but I found that the store was quiet and completely empty. I couldn't find anyone at all, so I went back to the coffee aisle again and I tried to reach for the chocolate myself, still to no avail. Frustrated, under my breath I muttered, well crap, I really wanted that. And all of a sudden, the chocolate box came flying off the shelf straight at me. It wasn't curved like when someone tosses an object at you, and it almost hit me in the head. I jumped back, instantly furious, and I ran around to the other aisle that backed up onto mine to chew out the employee who was stocking boxes. I'd assumed that they'd pushed one box too hard on their side, and it caused the box to fly off onto my side. I rounded the corner, and there was no one there. I stood there, trying to rationalise what had happened and what I was sensing. Finally, as if a spell was broken, I came out of my mini trance to the sound of employees talking, machines beeping, and music overhead. And I thought for a second that I'd been dreaming. I quickly returned back to my aisle, and the box was still on the floor by my cart. I quickly picked it up and under my breath said, "Well, okay, thank you," and walked away. I felt discombobbled for the rest of my trip around Walmart, not really sure what had just happened to me, but something did. I'm just not sure what. And then they put at the end, sorry if this isn't ghost enough. Aww. And I was like, that's definitely ghost enough.
Yeah, like what happened?
Also, it's nice to have like a nice friendly ghost.
Yeah, they helped.
Yeah.
It was like some nice tall man who was like, don't worry, I'll get it for you.
And like accidentally almost launched at her head, but I mean, still got her the hot chocolate she wanted. Still a nice, well-rounded story at the end.
Yeah, and a good use of the word bubbled, even if it did take us 3 attempts to record it.
I like that she put in that she like didn't think it was ghost enough, but then she also says that she felt something as well. She was like, oh, I sensed something when she went around to the other aisle. So she obviously like did think something was happening.
Yeah, I suppose like it's just one of those things where it's like people always think that they've got to send us stories that are really going to be like some sort of Hollywood horror movie. Yeah. And like actually sometimes the scarier, also not even the scarier, but like sometimes ghostly things, they're not all like little girls giggling and like in Victorian dresses. Like I think most of your ghost encounters are going to be, for example, like mine, like where I literally saw someone in a car and then they weren't there. Like I think they're not all these like big ominous, sinister, life-changing events.
No. Yeah, obviously that is just what makes a good horror movie.
Yeah, of course. Like you're not going to make this into a horror movie, but it's still like interesting.
Yeah. It's nice
thank you.
Nice to know that ghosts shop in Walmart. I did refer to this person as a she, but I mean, they haven't actually specified, so sorry if you are a he.
Yeah, sorry, we're just assuming you said husband, and that's very not okay of us, sorry.
I think as well, because it says, like, because the name is Annie Oakley's kids. I just saw like the Annie Oakley and I was like, oh, it's a girl. And I was like, wait, no, hang on, no, kid.
Yeah,
no. So apologies if that is a male.
I got to tell you a funny story, and Simon, I'm going to tell you this story, and then you might have seen it on Twitter. So I looked after an old lady yesterday. As she was walking, she kept going, come on, George. And she was called Dorothy. And we were like, who's George? And she was like, my leg. And I was like, oh, what's the other one called? She was like, Nuisance. So I went, oh, come on, Nuisance. Just as my band 7 walked past. So it looks like I just went to, come on, Nuisance.
Come on, you bloody nuisance.
And I went, oh no, not her, it's her leg. Which I don't think was very convincing either. So now my band 7 just thinks I call like elderly ladies nuisances.
I mean...
Come on, Nuisance.
It's a good nickname. I like how she's named one of her legs George, though.
I know.
And the other one Nuisance. Like, not like, I don't know, Fred and George. Do you know what I mean? Like...
I just like the fact she's named her legs.
Okay, so are you ready for our third ghost story?
Mm-hmm.
So this one was actually an email. It was someone from Reddit, but then they'd emailed us because they had a couple. So thank you. And it's from Brandy. So thank you, Brandy.
Thank you, Brandy.
2 buddies and I were wandering an abandoned, partially demolished building site. There was a long, narrow warehouse-type structure with a ramp inside halfway. We entered at the rear through a doorway. It was mostly empty, with some boxes and chairs thrown about the place. On the right side, towards the ramp, was a small closet with cans of paint and chemicals. There was no door to this room, and I decided to go over to the closet to take a closer look. The air was heavy and warm, yet I could feel the hair on my arm standing up on end. I could not move to get out of that closet. I then started screaming. In my mind, I saw a woman's arms flailing, and my screams were her screams. I was shouting, "Stop, you're hurting me, get off me, stop, help." My friend Mike grabbed my arm and pulled me out of the closet. I felt absolutely fine and calmed down right away as soon as I'd left. I felt maybe it was the chemicals floating in the air. We then all walked down the ramp towards the exit, which was at the far wall. There was no door, it was just an open wall. We were almost at the exit when Mike and I stopped walking and turned around. Bernie walked a few paces ahead of us and then stopped just because we'd stopped. "Are you seeing this?" Mike said to me. And I was, but Bernie couldn't see what we could see. He thought we were joking around, but Mike and I could see a black figure slowly floating down the ramp towards us. It was the shape of a human shadow, but it didn't have any feet. It was just an outline. Circling along the floor and up the wall, across the ceiling, down onto the other wall, and along the floor again, just in front of this dark figure, was a bright blue and white light orb. Mike and I just stood there. We were terrified, and Bernie still couldn't see anything. "Get out," it screamed at us, and I heard a thunderous boom of a voice. It was deep and loud, and it bounced off all the cemented walls and floors. We ran as fast as we could, and I never thought I could run that fast. I didn't stop, and I didn't look back. And this experience actually led Mike to start his own paranormal research business.
Should have dropped the business in there.
I know. I was like, would definitely have checked that out if we had a website address.
Yeah, if you want to send in the website, we will definitely shout it out and we'll check it out.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Brenda.
Yeah, that was a really good story.
I really want to explore somewhere abandoned. There's somewhere in Bristol I've seen.
There's quite a few in Cornwall as well, I think.
But I want to go somewhere where we're not going to get in trouble.
Yeah, that is the hardest thing with like abandoned places like that, as a lot of them are privately owned.
Yeah. But I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. It's like another shadow person again. We get quite a lot of shadow people, don't we? Yeah,
I always wonder with shadow people if it's our inability to see their proper form or if that is their proper form.
Yeah.
And I wonder if like, sometimes I always like wonder 2 different things. One, if like there's just different types of ghosts that like manifest in different ways.
Yeah.
And maybe you get to choose. Maybe it's like, you design your own avatar. But I also wonder if like different people see, and I suppose it's sort of debunked what I'm about to say here because 2 people saw the same thing.
Yeah.
I always wonder if different people can see the same entity in different ways because their level of consciousness to the paranormal is different.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good theory.
Yeah. But it's just a theory.
It's just a theory. Yeah, it could be that. Or it could be like, I don't know if there's like different types of spirits and entities, or if there's like maybe like the way you died.
And your power, like, maybe, like what you can do.
Yeah, because obviously you do get like different types of ghosts. Like you get like poltergeists who can obviously, like, because not every ghost can move things.
Yeah, and I wonder if, like, I'd be really annoyed if all I was a voice.
Yeah.
But then would you be more or less annoyed if you couldn't talk, but you could manifest into something visible? Do you know what I mean? It's like, would you rather be seen or heard?
Yeah. I guess if you can be heard, then at least
you could be like, oi, stop playing that music, don't like it.
Yeah, at least you could like communicate easier.
Because just say, if I was like haunting somewhere, I can't think where I'd haunt, but just say I was haunting a house and they kept on playing house music. Oh God, that would irritate me. I would start wrecking the place. Just to be like,
especially if you're trapped there.
Yeah, or like just Ed Sheeran all day long. Jesus.
Someone changed the tune. Yeah, that's interesting. But then I wonder if also like, because a lot of people, they say they like hear ghosts, but you don't ever hear them have a conversation with a ghost. So what if they're very limited to what they can say and what they can communicate?
Maybe they're like pull a string toys where like they get a few catchphrases and that's it.
Like Woody.
Yeah, there's a snake in my boot.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. We could make them. Pattern that. Pull a string ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what they'd say. Probably, yeah. Because that's what we seem to say.
I do think it's weird how two of them could see the ghost and one of them couldn't.
Yeah, I would just wonder again if we're not going on the theory that you see different things compared to your level of consciousness, but obviously that only some people can see ghosts.
Yeah.
Then I just guess that person's
it's not as open to it.
Yeah. I would like to know if they were more skeptical.
Yeah.
That would
be interesting. Yeah.
Bernie. Is it Bernie you couldn't see?
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if he heard it though, because they all ran.
I mean, to be fair, if I'm in a haunted place and you guys go, what's that? And then start running and I ain't seen shit, I am running.
No, I agree. I think if we were somewhere haunted and you were like, can you see that? It's like, have you seen The Conjuring where she's like, there's something in the corner of the room and her sister can't see it, but she's like absolutely terrified and she's like, it said it's going to kill my family. I feel like there's nothing in the corner.
Oh, is there? Oh.
Yeah, I think that is very good actress, the child actor.
Yeah, because children actors can be very 50-50.
Yeah, and I feel like
70-30 even.
Because I watched the newest Conjuring and there's a kid in that and there's like within the first half of the film there's a scene where he's like hiding in the shower and then the shower turns on and it just like rains blood on him.
Oh, okay.
And then there's like another bit where he gets like sucked into like a waterbed and I'm like, oh, poor kid, like that must be traumatizing to act out.
It sounds like an awful film.
To be fair, it's quite
sucked into a waterbed.
By a ghost. Like a ghost reaches out and like pulls his head in and starts like trying to drown him.
But I don't think waterbeds work like that.
Ghosts do.
What waterbeds is in a waterbed? A water mattress?
Yeah. Because he's like poking it and then you can see like a hand coming out. And then it like reaches out and pulls him in.
What a way to die.
I know. He doesn't die.
No, but what a way to go.
Yeah. Okay, are you ready for our fourth and final ghost story? So this one was sent in by someone with the handle Maximum Effort 914. So if that is you, thank you very much for your story.
Maximum Effort for sending it in. Cheers. Sorry.
That didn't even deserve the laugh that it got. I'm sorry.
Can't take it back now.
It all started at age 4. I was lying awake for at least a couple of hours. I was staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars on my ceiling when something made me feel like I should look to my right. That's when I saw her, an old lady sitting in a chair. The weirdest thing was, I didn't even have a chair in my room at the time, and I never have. I don't remember anything else happening in that house again, but we upped to move town shortly after that. And then that's where things started to get worse for me. I heard scratches on my wall day and night. And I'm going to call this thing an it, because I didn't know what it was, but it made me feel scared and I wanted to get out of that house as much as I could. At that place, it was just bangs and scratches, which now I look back on it, I realise wasn't that big of a deal. We moved out of that town and to the next town over. And again, things got a little crazier. My door would open by itself and then slam shut. Sometimes you can argue that when a door drifts off a latch, it could just be the wind. However, believe me when I say a 12-year-old boy knows how to make sure that the door is latched. I move again and nothing changes. But this is the worst part. I'm pretty sure I moved into a house with a demon. Me and my mum decided to move in with one of her friends. They're quite well off and they've got a huge house. However, it only seems to be me and my mum who can hear bangings happening all around the house. One night I was talking to my girlfriend online. I said goodbye and went to my room. After 3 steps towards my bedroom, every instinct told me to scream and run. So I ran. I could hear my footsteps and I could hear another pair of footsteps right behind me. They were hard and heavy. I made it into my room and I slammed the door behind me. And right after I closed the door, it sounded like someone ran into it. This continued for about a month, hearing someone follow me around the house. One night, I was listening to Christian music and something screamed in my ear so loud that I couldn't hear for the next couple of hours. At this point, I'd had enough. I called my mum and she told me to read passages from the Bible and tell it to leave, the way I would ask a person to leave a house if I didn't want them there. So that's what I did. I tried to tell the spirit that it was cowardly to scare an innocent child and I didn't like it being there, so please leave me alone. The friend that we lived with had an old Harley in their den and it was covered in dust. That same night, after about 2 hours of praying and reading the Bible and a lot of screaming, I went into the den because I heard screaming right next to the Harley. I look and there's 3 lines going down to the fuel tank. They weren't there before and they were fingerprints in the dust. For some reason, this comforted me because I thought I'd managed to send the demon back to hell. Yet again, we decided to up and move house, trying to leave that house behind us. And again, we could hear things like people walking around and scratching the walls. I decided to move back into the big house with my mum, but the banging and the noises all over the house continued. I could hear screaming outside my window and it was driving me crazy. At this point, me and my mum had to move because we started waking up with bruises. I used to do kickboxing and I don't usually bruise, so believe me when I say this bruising was unusual. Everywhere I ever moved, it seemed more paranormal things kept happening to me. It wasn't just where I lived either. It kept happening at my jobs, and when I finally moved out by myself and got roommates, they got pissed off with me because I didn't warn them that I came with a ghost. It was then that I realised that this ghost was mine and not the house's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you're moving around and you're still having the same stuff happen to you, yeah, that's your ghost, not...
That's your ghost. Also, just want to say about that first ghost who brought her own chair along. Amazing. I want to bring my own chair along in the afterlife.
When you're an old lady, you're just going to...
No, in the well, as a human, I'd like to manifest a chair whenever. But in the afterlife,
amazing.
I'm gonna have a chair.
Just bring a chair around.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing that though, like full well knowing that you don't have a chair in your room and seeing someone sat in the corner. Because not only are you like,
I'd be like, excuse me, how did you carry that?
well, not only are you like think, because normally if you see something sitting on a chair in your room, you can be like, oh, that's probably just my dressing gown. But the fact that you're like, there's never normally anything in that corner, like. Obviously, people can't see the room we're in, but obviously there's nothing in that corner over there because there's a door there. But if you looked over there and there was someone sat on a chair, you'd be a bit like, oh, there's not a chair there.
I'm trying to work out if like ghost furniture, right?
Am I right?
I'm trying to right. I'm just spitballing. But ghost furniture, is this like condemned furniture? Is this furniture that's been to the dump and it gets a spirit? I just want to know how ghost furniture now exists. Just saying.
Maybe she died sitting in her chair and then obviously, you know, like
So they cremated the chair with her?
Well, you know, sometimes people will
it's
like...
a big-ass coffin.
You haunt or you come back as a ghost in the clothes that you're wearing. Maybe because she died in a chair, she got the chair too.
So that kid who almost drowned in the waterbed.
Yeah. You would have had a whole waterbed with him. Yeah, imagine dying on the toilet and then just having a toilet with you.
Wow, that's Elvis, isn't it?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or in the shower. That'd be quite nice.
It'd be really rubbish to die on a hospital bed and always be in a hospital bed.
Yeah, that would be actually.
Yeah.
Don't know. Yeah, maybe she was just a powerful ghost who could manifest a chair.
I would manifest a throne.
Of course you would.
Be finally the queen I was always meant to be. But no, yeah, you're haunted. Go and get some holy water. You seem Christian, so you check for that. Not check for that. You've done that.
Check yourself.
And I think it's time for an exorcism, my dude.
Yeah. I like how he was like, oh, I didn't realise until I got roommates and they were like, you didn't tell us that you came with a ghost. And it's like,
not gonna lie, yeah. I realised like 3 houses ago in your story.
Yeah, I'm like, you keep moving into haunted houses. At what point do you think it's you, not the house?
But then I suppose all houses could be haunted. It just depends how open you are to them.
Yeah, and I guess if the first thing he saw was when he was 4 years old,
you get pretty it gets normalised.
Yeah, he would be very open to it. Some of them are really creepy though. He was like, oh yeah, and it just happened for 3 months. I'm like, someone chases you back to your room.
Yeah, for 3 months.
Yeah, for 3 months. I'd be like, that happens once. And I leave.
My friend Sam told me about a book she read, and it sounds like a really good book. The premise of it was that everyone has like a monster chasing them, and you can only look back twice because the third time you look back, it catches up to you.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been gone years ago. But,
oh my God, yeah. As soon as I ever felt anything behind me, I look.
Yeah, but could you imagine? Because also, like, the implications of, like, what if you just look behind you because you think you hear, like, a person behind you?
Yeah.
Or, like, a woman walking home late at night. Like, I'd check behind me, like, constantly.
Oh, God, literally, like, every couple of steps, yeah.
Yeah, so that book sounds amazing. It's a shame I'm never going to read it. But would be a good film.
Yeah. I feel like, though, if you knew that looking the third time you looked behind you, you were going to die, you probably wouldn't look behind you as much.
Yeah, but you would always be like, is that a genuine threat of something behind me, or is that just the monster?
What if you had a mirror? Does that count as looking behind you?
I guess, yeah, because I mean, you look behind you in the car using mirrors.
Oh, so then every time you drove, you'd die.
Well, I mean, we're finding plot holes in something we haven't read.
Yeah, so. True. I was trying to find a loophole, but
yeah, I guess. Thank you, everyone from Reddit, for your spooky stories.
We've got quite a few more to get through.
We have, but we would still love some more listener emails of spooky stories. Like you've heard today, nothing is, and I'm not saying that the person in Walmart was a small story, but I mean, nothing is like... Nothing's too small.
No. Even if, like...
It doesn't have to be the most dramatic ghost story in the world for us to want it.
Yeah. Even if, like, it would be nice to get some more friendly ghost stuff as well.
Yeah, we love Casper.
Yeah, if you're like, oh, I think it's like... Or, like, you know, when some people...
Or near-death experiences.
Yeah, or, like,
stuff.
family members die and you say that you can feel their presence.
Ghost pets.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to have some like positive, uplifting ones as well.
Well, thank you very much, Jess, and thank you very much, Reddit.
Yeah, thank you, Reddit. Thanks for listening.
If you have a case to suggest or a ghost story, you can email us at truecrimecoffinpod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on Twitter at truecrimecoffin.
Or on Instagram at truecrimecoffinpod. We are so thankful for everyone who is listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for your support. And absolutely, you don't have to, but if you would like to donate anything to the podcast, you can do so by going to ko-fi.com/truecrimecoffinpod. That's ko-fi.com/truecrimecoffinpod. And with that, I guess that all that's left to say is stay spooky. Okay, go to bed now.
Yeah. I don't know what. I couldn't read today.
No, you couldn't.